So it is kind of bittersweet to see progressives in a large way, especially this past 6, 7 months. It has been tremendous, amazing to see a lot of progressives making big moves and winning in races where it seems like a loss. A lot of progressives are winning races where they're being outspent by millions of dollars, being crushed by media, CNN, Fox News, and they're still winning. It is amazing to see that because now we have real representation, at least to the best that Republicans and corporate Democrats could never do. We're tired of settling for breadcrumbs and empty promises. Now we can at least have better representation in Congress. That is a good part. But it is hard to see that not only Republicans are doing what they do best, these culture wars where nothing matters. If you guys seen that Jesse Waters and Abdul El Sayed interview, you know what I'm talking about. They're not talking about policies, they're demonizing Muslims, brown folks, just because. Continually talking about trans people and not why gas prices are so high. They rather talk about immigrants than why my grocery bills are 2, 3 times higher than what they were 2, 3 years ago. Obviously. But it is even more disappointing to see corporate Democrats now flanking progressives with, how many times can they invoke the name Hassan Piker in 1 week? They're talking about Hassan Piker more than they're talking about Republicans. Now you have people like Chuck Schumer saying, we don't need Michigan. What? Because your guy didn't win. Now all of a sudden we don't need Michigan. Progressives are being outflanked in so many areas. It is hard for someone like Abdul El Sayed to beat the narrative. And the best way that he can stay in lane and be competitive is to stick to the policies. And like I said, if you've seen that interview, that is just the tip of the iceberg because now you got Democrats attacking him because on behalf of AIPAC, which is ridiculous. But if you don't believe me, let's go ahead, turn to CNN, where you will see this every single time. Let's get into it. Hey, just a friendly reminder, if you're a progressive and you're looking for a community of like-minded people, go ahead, click the link down below where I have a Discord for people who are interested in progressive values or the movement. So go ahead, click the link down below, and let's have that conversation.
And some Republicans have called him un-American, a terrorist, and a communist. And during an interview with host Jesse Waters, El Sayed was asked about red meat for the MAGA audience, racism, reparations, the NFL, Colin Kaepernick, ICE, sex changes, the Green New Deal, whether Beyonce should pay more taxes, and whether El Sayed was glad Iran's Ayatollah was dead. El Sayed called him out.
Jesse, you have not asked me one time about the issues that people actually care about in Michigan. You don't want to talk about gas prices. You don't want to talk about groceries. You don't want to talk about health care. You don't want to talk about the stupid trade war that's about to destroy Michigan's economy.
We spent the whole interview talking about that stuff.
That's destroying, that is destroying our own military. You don't seem to want to talk about any of those things. You want to bring up all this culture war that, I'm not here to fight a culture war.
We talked about the war. We talked about gas prices and the Green New Deal, okay? If you want to do an interview,
I brought them up every time.
You can do the interview.
I'm
getting at whether you think men should play in women's sports.
Senator in Michigan,
it's a big issue.
I'm interested in getting money out of politics, putting money in your pocket, and passing Medicare for all.
You're filibustering,
most people don't care about.
So on the one hand, I mean, this was sort of like the greatest hits of what you would expect to hear on Fox. However, and actually, and it might work for the people for whom those are issues that they're sensitive about. However, I do think that it kind of, El Sayed's point is that it sort of obscures the other issues that are at the top of the list for actual voters in this race.
No, but I think it shows strength and courage to go do it. Like when I first started doing television, the place that had me on most was Fox in the Morning. It is not easy to be a liberal in that mix, and just going in there, standing on your own 2 feet, holding your own, is good. It's strong, and I think that what they were trying to accomplish on his campaign is to come out of that with clips of him being asked a question that is not about one of the priorities of Michigan, and him going back and saying, but you haven't asked me about what Michigan voters care about. I think that he got exactly what he wanted out of that interview, even though I think Fox got what they wanted. They wanted to throw all the culture war stuff at him and have him deflect from it and not answer it so they can play it a million times. But he's also going to play it a million times on his social media. And I think social media in his campaign is proving to be really potent.
Yeah, it's right. And when we think about the clips, right, it can go both ways. It was a long interview. We watched it, so you at home don't have to. Because in large part, it was a bit of a waste, right? It was a man, Jesse Waters, in makeup on TV talking about transgender athletes and billionaires' rights when people at home in states like Arizona, where I'm from, another swing state, right? Half of people that were on SNAP fell off in the last year because of Trump's big, beautiful bill. Like, they are worried about actually making rent this month. They are in crisis. They're worried about putting food on the table. And I think what El Sayed did really well was go in there and say, that's what I want to talk about. That's what Democrats want to talk about, whether they're far left, centrist, right? He came in and said, this is what our agenda is. It is about making your life better, while the Fox Newses of the world are litigating cases and issues that don't really matter.
One of the interesting things,
And
again, this is actually characteristic.
To add to it, Fox News and Republicans, their propaganda, it works. I mean, for someone like as sane as us, we're like, who can really fall for the same tricks every 4 years? Who's really doing it? Republicans. Like, people are actually so more concerned about trans people and illegal immigrants' crimes, which is not held by any data or facts. They're more concerned about that than their own well-being. It is actually people out there like that. And like I said in my review video about Abdul El Sayed going to Fox News, especially in this moment, you're only solidifying for the people who are already voting for you. I don't know statistically how many independents watch Fox News. If there is a large amount, maybe you got your point across. But like Charles said, Fox News is going to be running that every single day. It's going to be on somebody's attack ads. Oh, he's for trans in sports. Oh, he's for, cutting off private parts of little kids. And that type of fear mongering, it does its job. It fears people. So, I mean, we'll be able to look back and see, was that a good move? But honestly, you can spend that kind of time on somebody else's platform that's going to actually do some good. But we're here now.
Of how El Sayed is being handled by the right. They have a lot of issues with his policies, his economic policies, but they keep attacking him on culture war issues. Here's Tim Scott just tonight talking about El Sayed.
These radicals don't just want new policies. They want to change the very DNA of what it means to be an American. They're coming after our culture, Sean, and that is what makes them dangerous. Their policies are radical, their cultural shift, it is dangerous for Americans, and we must stand in the gap and make sure they never see the floor of the Senate. This is the most important midterm election in our lifetime. It is no longer Democrats versus Republicans. It's communists and socialists against what makes America great, our Judeo-Christian values in a free market system.
Would they be better off just simply?
It just stings a little more. Like, I'm used to hearing that from Fox News and Republicans and MAGA. That's not the problem. It just stings a little more when I hear a brother say that. You know, like, what culture are you referring to? You're only on that screen because of your color. And to see that you're defending white supremacist talking points, it just hurts a little more, okay? But
Attacking him, if you're going to attack him on the policies, on the economic incompatibility of what he's putting on the table with what people in Michigan want, rather than saying, oh, he's going to change our culture. What does that even mean?
Well, 2 points. That network has more independent viewers than you think, and those clips are going to circulate on social media. And it was quite clarifying, I think, to a lot of people, that he could not give simple answers to questions about the culture war. He conflated circumcision with sex changes for children. So now it's good to know that he's on the 20% of an 80-20 issue nationally. But if you want to talk economics, fine, let's talk economics, which that network has talked about extensively as well. His biggest economic goal is Medicare for all, also known as single-payer health care, also known as nationalizing health care. He doesn't want to talk about El-Sayed, about how that would require taxing the middle class. That seems to defeat the whole championing of the working class mantra, don't you think? He doesn't talk about how that would kick off many millions of Americans off their private or employer-sponsored health care, and the majority of Americans, polling says, like their health care. So why doesn't he want to address that?
And Abby's going to hit this nail on the head, which, if that was a very concerning discussion or conversation or question, Jesse Waters never brought that up. And I, unfortunately, I'm still trying to recover. I watched that interview 4 times. Okay? Gave that whole Medicare for all conversations like 20 seconds, and that was it. And they talked about, should Beyonce pay more in taxes? They talked at length with that versus Medicare for all. And to answer her question just real quickly, 1, yes, middle class folks will be paying a smaller portion in taxes versus what they pay in insurance with copays and all these other pays that you got to do when you step into a hospital. I'd rather pay this much in taxes than a $300 bill that I had to pay a few years ago. Many people don't even go to the hospital because of that. And I don't know about I love my insurance company when I'm paying $200-$300 per person within my family. It is already proven through data that Americans pay more for healthcare and have less quality versus countries who pay less than we do and have higher healthcare quality. So whatever idiot saying, I love paying my $200-$300 bill for health insurance is an idiot. You're going to not have to pay that and have better quality healthcare. And then people don't want to be tied to their jobs because of their healthcare. Had that conversation a million times. Companies don't want to pay for healthcare, and people don't want to be tied to a going nowhere job because of their healthcare. And as you see, she had no rebuttal or replacement that Republicans are offering for healthcare. They have nothing. They have concepts of a plan still.
He wasn't asked about it.
But he is regularly.
Well, no, he was asked. He was asked about healthcare, but he wasn't asked about those I think those are actually important, detailed questions about how this would work. He wasn't asked about that.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
I just wanted to be very clear that these are issues that also impact the folks watching Fox, right? Whether we're red or we're blue, people at home are struggling
And they
with
like their
getting
health care.
insured.
But they like their health care.
If they have
and you said in minutes when you should talking about
They don't want to get
if they haven't got
healthcare.
kicked off of Medicaid because of
So you want to kick them off even though they like it?
no,
Is that
I
what you're
don't want the
saying?
people. I don't want the poor people that
How are
got
you
kicked
going
off.
to pay for Medicare for all? How are you going to pay
I'm
for
gonna
it?
let you get that out. Now, let me finish. Now, what I don't want is the poorest of Americans to get kicked off of Medicaid, which is what happened to pay for these tax cuts that were part of the big beautiful.
Okay, that's also a
what I don't-
misnomer.
That's
Work
what
requirements
that's
for
what I
Medicaid?
that's what I that's what I
Okay, but no.
that's what I don't want.
I want to know.
Let me
This is
Terry-
crazy
Terry
because you're
get a
talking about work
moment.
requirements for Medicaid, but in fact, when we are talking about these administrative barriers, these are my neighbors that I'm going home and talking to, and they're missing paperwork by one day, and they're falling off their care. They're going in and sitting in DES offices, Department of Economic Security offices, with packed waiting rooms where staff has been slashed, and they are forced to miss work.
And the
for
answer to
childcare
that is
to
a
go and sit
huge
there.
new bureaucracy where they will do it to everybody.
We are in a
Terry,
independent
hold on a
crisis,
second. Let me let
you
Terry
guys.
get
Person
get
in
his word.
America who has
And once again, that is not true. Talk to people who live in these countries that have a government ran healthcare. I got somebody from Denmark in my Discord. Go ahead, join the Discord so we can have this conversation. They would not trade our healthcare system for theirs in a million years. The waiting time, okay, we do wait. But guess what? Their bills, they don't see. We have waiting time and we see the bills. I'd rather wait a little longer and not have to pay a $200, $300 bill over a visit. Come on, man. All this stuff is you can find on Google. I don't know why people fall for the
tax
lies.
the middle class the most is Donald Trump. If you are at the 60th percentile of income or below, any tax cut you might have gotten from the big beautiful bill has been chewed up by tariffs. Tariffs have, if you're 50% or below, you're now paying more in the tax impact of tariffs than you would have before.
That's not an argument for Medicare for all.
People don't understand with how this is running.
One at a time.
And at the
Most
same
Americans
time, he's
are
been
for
raking in
nationalizing
cash
their healthcare?
hand over fist
$1 billion
and calling
in the
affordability a con job or a Democratic hoax at the same time. And we just found out in June that he had 1,051 stock trades in 1 month. There's only 21 trading days in that month. You don't even, dude, either you not see that as corruption?
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Man, it is I don't even understand why it's even a conversation today. It just blows my mind. People are still getting swindled after experiencing that Republicans and corporate Democrats have nothing to offer. Nothing. Except for a lot of platitudes and fear-mongering. If you don't like Abdul or progressives, Medicare for all, if you don't like that, what solution do you have? Because last time I checked, the ACA, Obamacare, which is originally Romney Care, okay, like congratulations with a Republican healthcare plan, Americans are still paying for that through the subsidies. That's not coming from heaven above, that's coming from taxpayers' money. So when you want to say, oh, we got to pay out of pocket for Medicare for all, we're already doing that. These subsidies are coming from somewhere. It's just coming out of our pocket to government to pay insurance companies. Why don't we just get rid of all the middlemen, all of that, and have a direct contact with us in healthcare? But Republicans and corporate Democrats, they never want to talk about substance. They never want to go toe-to-toe with policies because they have nothing. They cannot combat. They're going to lose 9 times out of 10 in that conversation. No, they want to go to immigrants and trans people, someone like Abdul's a communist, and Hassan Piker, a streamer. That's all they want to talk about. But as progressives, we need to stay on message. Do not let them control the narrative. We need to talk about this 24/7. That's how we're gonna win. That's simple.
I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Fuck with me, you know that